Okay, so
Cue the tier song.
Okay, so let's go through the tiers
Short one.
quick. We have Sapphire Tier. This is the highest tier. You know, you might think of it as S tier. You have Team Leader. This is a Pokemon you would catch, and he would lead your team through whatever region you're playing. We both have played each game countless times, so we have a huge pool of Pokemon that we've gone through each region with. We have Team Member. This means you'd catch it and you'd probably bring it to the Pokemon League and do a playthrough with it. Rotten the PC. It was worth a catch, but you probably end up getting rid of it by like the fourth gym or something. It just didn't hold up as it was on your team. Trash. We're not catching trash. But maybe a redeeming quality. What has no redeeming qualities is straight cheeks. Your cheeks. Nothing. Worthless. And that's the law. That is not that's objective. Your literal butt cheeks if you're in this tier. Altaria, the first bird. You know, we always like to start our shows with a sneak peek. And I think Altaria, this was also a questionable one because, you know, is it a dragon? Is Altaria a bird? I ended up going on, she has these talon feet, her clouds are wings, and she has a beak. So this is a bird to me. And
yeah, it's birdie.
Altaria is really cool. I've never had Altaria on any of my teams. I would love to. I think Swablu as well is an awesome Pokemon. The cloud idea is super unique and super interesting.
Yeah, I think that it's an awesome Pokemon. I think it's really cool, and I like the dragon flying, and the typing is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go to the tier list?
Let's do it. So, I'm a big fan too. I've never had one, like I said, and I don't think of it as like, oh, Altaria, you're top tier, but it's something that I would definitely be interested in having. For me, I think Altaria is firm team member for me.
Yeah, I think that any like rotten the PC and lower is definitely ruled out.
Mm-hmm.
Team member, I think it's like in between team member and team leader for me, like a B plus.
Yeah. Yeah, like front end of team member, maybe team leader. Because the cloud thing, one thing you like to see in Pokemon is just something really unique. Like, you know, Poltegeist, for example, the new to go to Galar, like that's so interesting. It lives in this like teapot and stuff. And I think the cloud body is an example of just a really unique feature, and that might bump it up to team leader. What do you think?
I'm already regretting this. Let's
not do it.
This is already hard because I don't. I'm like, what about Altaria's feelings?
Even if I caught an Altaria in a run through of like Ruby or something, I don't think Altaria would be my like focal. Like to me, a team leader is like, oh, I'm going up against the champion. Who's the last guy I set out? Like who's the guy that I'm saving for the champion's best guy? And to me, that even on a run where I have an Altaria, I don't think Altaria would be that level.
Okay, I'm good. I love Braviary. Obviously, I have a Braviary named Xena in the Pokemon D&D that Steven runs for me and a couple more of our best friends. And it is, she's my starter in that D&D. And even when I hit Black and White 2, I knew that I wanted to start with a Rufflet. So I remember like I think Black and White, I bred... I went and just caught Braviary and Victory Road, and I bred it with either another one or a Ditto, and I got the egg in a level 1 Rufflet, and then I traded that over to my other account.
I remember that, yeah.
To the other game, and then I released my starter, so I had a level 1 to start the game, and no one else, and I was so ecstatic. I loved that start. I think Braviary is a freaking sweet Pokemon, and I'm comfortable saying it's team leader.
I love Braviary as well. One knock on Braviary is I remember when the Japanese version of all the Pokemon names came out for Gen 5. For Gen 5, they had a full leak of every Pokemon in Unova.
Oh, you're right.
And
what was the name?
it was named Wargle.
Oh,
War Eagle. It was called Wargle, and I just thought that was the coolest name. And Braviary is very cool, but I think Wargle is a better name.
that's right. I remember we were like, oh, Wargle.
Yeah, that's sick. But Braviary's cool. Honestly, I would personally say Sapphire Tier. Like when I think of just a badass bird, I love Braviary.
I'm not gonna fight an S tier. I love Braviary.
Dude, I absolutely adore Braviary as well.
Oh, dude. I think Corviknight was immediately. I didn't know that Corviknight was gonna be a third evolution because in the release for Sword and Shield, that Corviknight just happened to be one of the 7.
Yeah,
or
like
so
one of the
Pokemon.
first announces.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, it's a Raven.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to evolve? Like, what's that going to happen? So when I started the game and I got like Rookidee and and it evolved again, I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to go to Corviknight. Like, Corviknight might be its own bird, and then it evolved into Corviknight, and it was like, oh, the pieces, they're together, and then when I realized that Corviknight is huge,
Corviknight
big,
is huge,
and it's sick. I love how big Corviknight is.
I agree with that. To be honest, personally, I've always found Corviknight to be very busy, in like a negative, like negatively busy.
Like the design is a lot going on.
There's just like all these different angles and like swoops. Like if you look at what's going on in his head, he's got those like 3 kind of feathers coming out of this like weird shaped helmet thing, and then the shoulder pads that swoop up. It's just a lot to me. So that's he's badass. Don't get me wrong, he's very badass, but to me that's a negative.
I always found the actual like main head piece of Corviknight, including the chest plate, knee guards, it always felt like a knight's armor. So I've always liked that like aspect of Corviknight, and I love Corviknight. I think that, like, I immediately would say like S tier. I love Corviknight. I'd be willing to go down to team leader.
So I was gonna say team leader. You gave me S tier for Braviary. I'm happy. I think he's awesome, and he's very busy thing is me nitpicking, I believe, and also it definitely fits with he's a knight and that's his armor, and that's awesome. So I totally happy. Yeah, dude. Okay, S tier, Sapphire.
It's like just okay. Sounds good,
dude.
All right, so.
Crawdaddy, Cramorant, the other Galar bird that we weren't. All right, you're trash. You're. What do you think?
It's what is it? Water flying?
He's water flying. Cool. No evolutions. He's a duck.
I'd probably say trash. Like, I don't think that he's the bottom tier.
Dude. That's not where I'm keeping him, but look at that eye.
Yeah.
And he's got like he doesn't have the structure in his face to fully close his beak, so he's got like drool coming out of the sides at all times.
You're definitely right. It's definitely
his like weird neck that's like behind his head. He's just so derpy.
I'm sorry, Cramorant.
I say he's cheeks.
Wow, no, I don't think he's.
Because this should be our opinion, not like, oh, there are people who like the derpy Pokemon, so let's make it higher.
Fine, forget the other people. It's just you and me.
This is
I
us.
don't think he's straight cheeks. I think he's trash.
We'll do trash. All right, next Pokey. Okay, so we are gonna do starters later, but this is a bird. This is an owl. He's part of this. And Decidueye is so cool. I think we both started with Rowlet. And
we did both start with Rowlet.
I absolutely love Decidueye. I love his unique ability, unique moves with the like bow and all of that. Such a cool Pokemon. He's got this like 6-pack stuff going on, which is interesting. And I would he's just awesome. He looks like he's on an undercover mission.
He's cool. I was a huge fan of Rowlet, and The middle Evo like didn't offend me as usually the middle Evos do. I think the design is so cool. The owl in the grass, it was very cool. I really do love this bird one. And I know that we like with the fossil Pokemon and the starters, we were gonna try to separate them to do like the own fossil thing and the starter thing, but I think this one was really hard to leave out because it's just so clearly an owl.
Yeah, I think that's okay. We can rank him amongst the starters and rank him amongst the birds. That's totally
What do you
okay.
think?
So I think another thing about Sapphire Tier is if I'm thinking about like my all-time, like I'm not doing a playthrough, but like if I have 6 Pokemon that I'm taking to the World Championship Pokemon battle, anyone in Sapphire Tier is fair game to be brought along as part of like my dream team. And I don't know if Decidueye is at that level. I would say he's a strong team leader.
I think that he is a strong team leader. And if you were like, he's definitely Sapphire, I wouldn't have a hard time putting him there. So I was going to say team leader as well. I'm glad we agree.
Me too. Okay, next. Delibird. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Delibird is fun.
Delibird is fun. What is the move? Like, what's Delibird's move? Is it Wish or is it Gift? No, Wish is Jirachi.
Yeah, Wish is Jirachi. It could be called Gift. To be honest, I've never had a Delibird. I know what you're talking about. I know in some games it's like an animation where he like throws a present or something. I honestly don't know if it buffs you, if it does damage, but it's unique, definitely. It's Christmas themed. Also derpy, but derpy on the side of like cute and very endearing Pokemon that you just want to like hug and like sing Christmas carols with.
Did you ever catch one of these?
No.
Would you ever catch one and think that, oh, this might be cool?
I don't think I would ever catch one and think this might be cool. He's not a flying type. I think he's cool. But
I think he's cool too. Would you give him Rotten the PC or trash?
I think because he has unique flair similar to Chatot, I would say Rotten the PC, even though I wouldn't personally catch one.
I agree.
I would feel bad calling Delibird trash, to be honest.
Yeah, I would feel bad calling Delibird
Delibird is so...
Delibird's cool.
Yeah, Delibird's awesome. Okay. Dodrio, one of the OG birds. Trash.
I don't like Dodrio.
Okay, but Tri-Attack, every time I think of Tri-Attack,
is so
it
cool.
can burn, paralyze, and freeze, I think. Or no, I don't think it can burn. I think it can paralyze. It can do 3 status effects. Poison, I don't know. It's so cool. And like 3 heads and they're all doing one type and then they go. Like that's awesome. Such a cool Pokemon. Such a cool concept of a Pokemon.
Yeah, I think that the concept is sick. Tri-Attack, I remember, what game is it? It's probably Leaf Green. Tri-Attack, the actual graphic for it was sick. And whenever it
is that
was
like the
used
triangle and they spin?
Yeah, and then there's like a thing. And I remember whenever like it exploded on my guy, I was like, oh, are you okay?
Yeah,
that
cool.
looks horrible.
And they're probably, it's like a 25% chance, I believe, 3 times, which means like they're I don't know if that's true, but it's a cool Pokemon.
Are we going to make this Rotten the PC or trash?
Trash.
Okay. I don't.
We're just singing its praises. I don't know if we've said a bad thing. Let's talk about why it's trash for a second.
Yeah, I guess we probably.
What is going on?
I don't like it. I think it's a little too derpy for me. Like the necks, and I can't get behind the ostrich style. Like,
I could get behind the ostrich style, but this isn't it being executed properly. All right, we got Iskew.
I'm just waiting for the photo to come up. Oh, Iskew, this guy.
Yes, ice blockhead penguin.
You know what? His ability, like we should start there because
yes, that is the Pokemon.
I didn't know that this guy existed until I was in the gym in in Shield. So like when he came out, and I had my guy actually Dynamaxed at that point, because like it was one of those things where I was on her third to last guy, and I Dynamaxed. I'm like, we are just going to one shot these things, and then we're gonna like give one shot on the last guy too. And I was confident.
Survived.
And this guy took 2 turns of my Dynamaxing, building fast, but like when it rebuilt and then it rebuilt again, and I lost 2 turns of the Dynamax, I was like, oh man,
that's cool.
Yeah, I thought this guy was cool. He is on the derpy side, but I think it's cool.
To be like, yeah, I think he's a really interesting way to do stall, because he doesn't have like high HP. Like he's not your typical. He's not what you think of when you think of a tank, but like that's so cool. And I would put him at team member tier.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's just such a unique design and really fun. Really fun.
Speaking of penguins,
Empoleon.
Empoleon's S tier. Like,
all right, I agree. I love Empoleon. But here's the interesting thing. When we do the starter conversation, are we going to change that scale? And maybe we don't have that conversation now, but I don't know if he's S tier amongst starters.
I agree.
But he's so cool. And
as far as these birds go, like as the king penguin, and I always loved his trident head.
Yes, it's just such
I just love it.
We're Farfetch'd. And we do have Surfetch'd coming later, but this is the Farfetch'd conversation. And he's a classic, but I would never catch one. I think he's trash or cheeks, man.
Oh my gosh, you think he's trash or cheeks?
I would never catch one.
I think that's brutal. I think I would never catch one, but I was gonna say rotten the PC.
Well, you'd never catch one. How would he get to the PC?
But his design's cool.
Yeah. But
is he as cool as Delibird and Chatot? He is not as bad as, I don't even know the name of it. The first one.
Cramorant? That's why I was calling him Cheeks, man.
No, he's not as bad as
Cramorant. That's why I was calling Cramorant Cheeks.
Oh, I see. Cramorant Cheeks.
Maybe now we're getting an idea of what this scale is, now that we've gone through a few. Cheeks.
Fearow
is the name of this Pokemon.
Yeah, Fearow is garbage. I hate Fearow. I think it is so bland, and I don't think it's cool.
He's not cool.
I don't think he's cool. I don't.
You know what he is, though? He's like a perfect time capsule, because he's very 1990s cartoon.
Yeah.
But he's Cheeks, man.
He's just Cheeks. I literally don't know what else to say. He's just
open
bad.
up the cheeks.
And you know what's funny is, like, looking at him next to Braviary, for example, it's like they're really not like just absolutely build wise. Like, they're the same. Like, they really are just the wings, the talons, and the beak. But it's just like, it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't like it. Let's move to the next one. I'm sorry, Fearow.
Dude, no apologies. This is our opinion.
I'm going to apologize. I just feel like he's alone down there. Until we send someone down to straight Cheeks, I'm just going to be like...
We got to bring someone else to straight Cheeks. Hawlucha. Okay. Cool pokey. I think he's dope, and I would definitely have him as a team member. Flying.
Yeah.
I think he's so cool. And Ash had one.
I don't like Hawlucha. It came out and I was like, it's just not for me. Like the kind of, what am I thinking? Luchador.
Yep.
Luchador style is very cool. The fighting and he does. He looks like a Luchador, and the fighting flying is a cool combination of types. Whenever they do like a weakness involved with a strength, I think that is always so fun. It just never clicked with me.
As the resident fan of wrestling, I just want to talk about a few things that I really appreciate about Hawlucha.
Okay.
and I'm by no means like an expert on lucha libre culture or anything like that. I very much watch American and Japanese wrestling, but the design of his, like, first of all, the color scheme, the bright colors are very luchador-esque, and he has the way his wings are, like, coming off of his arms is like what a massive, like, the god of the wrestling promotion would wear coming down to the ring. And he's not a luchador, but I think of like Macho Man Randy Savage when I see him, and that's awesome to me. And then he has those feathers in the back, which I know some luchadors sort of wear. Yeah, and they like tie it up. So maybe that's part of my connection to Ha Lucha. Again, I've never had one, but for me, he's a team member. If you want to meet in the middle, I'm willing to put him on Rot in the PC, though, but it's with a heavy heart.
I think I do Rot in the PC. I think that after your explanation, I could make it a team member. But my first thought is Rot in the PC. But I could put in team member and still be happy.
Cool. Haunch Crow. Haunch Crow. I love Haunch Crow so much.
I know you do.
I've had multiple runs with Haunch Crow, from the hat, the like hat that's part of his feather, to just the color scheme, the dark red and the blue, and the big like chest of a chicken, ripe, and the moon underneath his eyes. Such a cool Pokemon, especially because Murkrow, thank you. Murkrow was before him Gen 2, and then he came in Gen 4 with the Dusk Stone, I believe, to evolve, and just such a cool Pokemon. He's scary, he flies in the night, he's got these, gripping talons, and I love him. I would definitely put him as a team leader personally, and I'm, again, similar to Ha Lucha, prepared for you to make a counter argument.
Yeah, I think that this is another similar case where, like, I never had a strong connection to Murkrow or Haunch Crow, and it just was another one of those that never really clicked for me. It never clicked, and I'm pretty sure when we actually did our original Diamond run, I don't think you had one. I think you had a Staraptor.
Haunch Crow, yeah, I absolutely had a Staraptor, and Haunch Crow was a late addition. Like, probably,
I think that you realized it was cool, and I think you made an effort to get a Murkrow in Platinum. The design is so cool.
Yeah,
I think it does have some Spanish flair. I do love how its feathers actually form the hat.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool. I think. Can I see the list again?
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like, I'd see Murkrow and be comfortable making it team member, but you could convince me to go to team leader. Like,
to be honest, for me, like, I love him. He's bottom of the team leader pack, so I'm totally comfortable putting him as a team member.
Like, I do like the kind of caveman feel of it, but it's just not my cup of tea. And maybe it'd be on the team, but it'd probably rot in the PC.
I agree. I think Volibee is awesome. Mandibuzz, good idea, but poorly executed. I think vultures are very ugly animals, and it went just a little too far. To me, the biggest thing is the shade of pink that they use. And for that reason, you rot in the PC.
But I need to see where.
We could talk about that at the end if you want to.
Okay, we'll talk. Because I'm starting to have, like, heart palpitations about Altaria, but we'll get there.
Heart palpitations. Noctowl, very wise. The owl Pokemon, Psychic, is a perfect theme for an owl. And
what?
What?
For why?
Psychic? Because owls are very smart.
But you didn't mention. Did you imagine you said the exact? I just, with like the other owl, I just see it as grass.
Oh no! Well, I didn't say that. Okay. So Decidueye, like, yeah. What is it? Grass flying, or does it actually become grass?
I think it's
dark?
grass flying.
Either way, I just think, like, yes, Decidueye is cool and it's grass, but they made a grass owl, where Noctowl they kind of just made an owl, and because it's an owl and owls are very smart, it makes sense that he learns these unique flying moves or unique psychic moves for a flying type. I love the little square triangles on his chest. Noctowl is great.
I'd say maybe team member. I wouldn't go higher than team member.
I absolutely agree. He's a team member.
Okay.
Oricorio. We went back and forth on this a lot just before we actually go into the Pokemon. This Pokemon has 4 forms. We talked about potentially ranking each one individually. My statement was that Oricorio is one Pokemon that has all these different forms, and I think that is an aspect of the design of the Pokemon as a single Pokemon. Plus, I don't think we want to talk about this thing 4 times. Do you wanna go ahead and tell me some of your thoughts?
Because I still think that maybe this still should have been done separately. Potentially, like maybe it was better because they are 4 different designs. They're 4 different types.
You're right.
And so maybe it should have been separated a bit. But then you said like, would you rank them all like wildly different? I was like, oh no, I don't really like them. But yeah, in the whole, I think it's a rot in the PC Pokemon.
Very cool. I like the different forms. At the end of the day, you rot in the PC. A classic. Pelipper.
Pelipper is my jam. I love Pelipper. I think that Wingull is sick. I think that Pelipper is better. I love Pelipper. Like the water flying is so good to me. I think that is such a strong combination because on my teams I need a water type, I need a flying type, and having it together was just it was so good. I love Pelipper so much. And especially, and I know this is going to be controversial with you, because I thought that Swellow was lacking so much. I don't like Swellow.
I'm so excited to talk about Swellow. But
I don't like Swellow, so I'll give you your time when it's your time. But for now, I think Swellow was lacking. I was like, ugh, like I wish there was something cooler. And then they're like, oh, you want something cooler? And then Pelipper was there to save the day. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Pelipper.
I have. Are you? Sorry, keep going.
Dude, I'm not even halfway done. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna put Pelipper like high up there.
Okay. Before I get into the design of Pelipper, I want to tell 2 stories. The first one is like in the actual Pokemon game, playing through Emerald. I remember seeing, I wish I remember his name, but the old man who takes you on the boat to Dewford Town, which is where Brawly is the gym leader, the little beach village. And he's like running around his house chasing the Wingull. And I just always thought of it as this like rambunctious, like fun beach Pokemon. So for that reason, alone, I have like early Pokemon memories of at least Wingull and by association Pelipper. I also remember because you got Briny. Captain Briny?
Briny, he will offer to ferry the player in his boat among Petalburg City and Dewford Town, as well as Sleeport City, but only after the letter to Steven's delivered.
Steven. Gotta give me that letter. Anyway, I
Mr.
also
Briny, I think.
remember so vividly, buddy, and I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but you got into Pokemon before I did. I remember Gen 4 was either coming out or it was brand new, and this is like early on, we were probably like 9-10 years old, so our friendship was blossoming. And I remember like being either on your dad's boat with you or at the beach or somewhere, and you were just in such a Pokemon phase that you were telling me all about Pokemon, and you were like pointing to the seagull, and you're like, if we were in this world, that would be a Pelipper or a Wingull. And over there would be a Rattata, and there was like if there's a rat under like the parking lot or whatever. And it was your dad's boat because we went to the ice cream guy to get the frozen Milky Ways, which you thought were like, oh, like, hey, I'll take. They were like not on the ice cream guy's menu, but he had them in the back, and you're like, I'll take some frozen Milky Ways. And then you're like, look, a Wingull, and I looked up and it was a seagull, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever that like they were. It was like one of my first introductions to Pokemon. So, long story short, Pelipper has nostalgic value for me as well.
I don't remember that at all. Dude.
I didn't think you would because I've never talked to you about it. One thing funny about Pelipper is his eye is weird to me.
and the point I'm trying to make here is
trash.
I don't like Pelipper.
No, for me, he's a firm team member, but I'm willing to go to team leader for Pelipper. He's so cool.
Yeah, I think that he is a team leader, honestly. But dude, I'm gonna have to bump up Altaria.
We're gonna do a review at the end, unless
Okay,
like every time I go to this screen, are you upset?
Yeah, like my heart just it throbs every time I see Altaria.
I don't know if I'm sold yet on that, honestly, so I want to keep her at the front of team member, and we can have that discussion.
Oh, she's just a monster. She's a dragon. All right, we'll go to the next one.
A legend. The one who started it all. Pidgeot. Pidgeot is a perfect... I think a lot of Gen 1 is like, what is the quintessential fighting type? Machamp, you know? What is the quintessential electric type? Like a Pikachu or Voltorb. He's just a battery thing, circle. Like, it's just like raw, what is this type, quintessentially, because they were starting from literal scratch. And Pidgeot is a perfect, just perfect representation of what a flying type at its core looks like. And it has this royal, you know, headdress that like flows as it flies. Pidgeot is not a very flashy Pokemon, but she's exactly what she needs to be, and I love Pidgeot for that reason. Very nostalgically driven, and I did talk to you before about we shouldn't be too driven by our nostalgia, but Pidgeot is perfect, and I want to...
Should have reminded me that before that whole...
No, I think it all goes out the window at this point once we started doing it. Pidgeot for me is Sapphire Tier.
I think Pidgeot is great. I would probably say team leader and not do Sapphire Tier, but it's great. So I'm not uncomfortable putting it in Sapphire Tier.
Do you have anything? I think Sapphire Tier, like, part of it should be we both feel strong. Like, I'm okay putting it in team leader because I don't feel super strongly about Pidgeot. Definitely not my favorite Pokemon of the flying types, but I'm a big
just fan. out of all the flying types, I think out of the like front three that I'd pick, or like I don't think I'd put. I think that everything in Team Sapphire was like, it's just so awesome, and when I see it, I think it's so awesome. I think Pidgeot is great, but I think maybe it might be. I don't know if too basic is the right word, or just like nowadays I don't think it gives me.
It doesn't hold up.
Yeah, I don't think so as much as anymore. Team leader for sure. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's like, I don't see Pidgeot. I'm like, oh, sick Pokemon. The way that I see Corviknight, and I'm like, it's a monster. Braviary's a monster.
See, when I see Pidgeot every time, I think there's almost, and I know it's just Pidgeot, and like, it could be just because it's Gen 1, but like, there's almost a pseudo-legendary feel about Pidgeot for me. It's so simplistic, and it's got that flowing hair, and yeah, I love Pidgeot.
I could be arguing.
I'm happy. I think team leader is perfect for Pidgeot.
If it's team leader, it's definitely going to be high, if not top.
Surfetched.
Yeah, I think that now would be a good time for you to explain why we're doing Surfetched and Farfetched.
Sure. And I know we kind of had a conversation about this, and I maybe made an executive decision because we didn't talk about it again. But I think Surfetched and Farfetched, and for that matter, any Pokemon that has a Galarian form, a Alolan form, whatever form, I think we can consider the original version and the Alolan or Galarian or whatever version separately. And in this case, I think Farfetch'd has been in the Pokemon world as Farfetch'd for so long, and Galarian Surfetch'd is very new to the Pokemon world, that we've been able to sort of have thoughts on Farfetch'd for many years, whereas Surfetch'd for me is a new Pokemon. So that's why I put it. Maybe Farfetch'd shouldn't be on and we should just be thinking about Surfetch'd, but I think it's very much two separate conversations, because in this design where you have a grass shield and you have a leak, but it's different because it's a frickin' lance and there's an onion growing out of the bottom, it just changes the entire ball game. And I think us seeing Farfetch'd earlier almost like bolsters the argument for Surfetch'd.
Surfetch'd is so much cooler than Farfetch'd.
Yeah. And I think there will be cases, though, just off the top of my head, maybe you can make an argument that Galarian Rapidash versus the original Fire Rapidash, like, they're very different Pokemon. If we rank the horses, I think it makes sense for them to both be there. Surfetch'd. What would you like to say about him?
I think Surfetch'd is great. What is the actual typing on Surfetch'd? It's just normal?
Good question.
Maybe normal fighting now? No.
I'll have that answer for you momentarily. Why don't you keep talking?
I think Surfetch'd is really cool. I remember when it came out originally, I was just like, wow, I think that I'd put that on my team. And then when we ended up getting Shield and we didn't have access to it, I was like, I don't know if I would I'd trade it over and go through that type of thing. But I think Surfetch'd is a really cool Pokemon. And I, once again, appreciate the Knight aspect of it, like the Sword and Shield aspect of it.
Yes.
I think that...
He's fight. Just throwing it in there.
Really? He's
Yep.
fight?
Just fight.
Sick.
Yep.
I think that Surfetch'd is a team member.
I 100% wholeheartedly agree. He's really cool. And I just love the scale. His little body with this huge sword. Any time you exaggerate something in Pokemon, it's either going to be really bad or awesome. And they just towed the line, and to me, it's awesome. Next. Skarmory. An OG Gen 3. No evolutions. Steel flying. Very strong typing. A scary Pokemon to go up against. What are your thoughts on Skarmory?
Skarmory's cool. I remember I
Very
would...
cool.
Because I can imagine going through that, like, ashy area near...
Yep.
the volcano and like these popping out. And
You just
also,
beat the 4th gym. Now you're in the northernmost part of Hoenn.
and like there were Spindas there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Preach.
I remember I thought Skarmory was just one of those like weird kid moments, because I think Sapphire might have been the first Pokemon game I played. I think, even though like I watched the show, I don't know, but I remember Skarmory was one of those things I was just like kind of like afraid of, I think, as a kid.
He's
like it
scary.
would pop out because he would come out like randomly, and I think it was even like lower percentage or something as a kid. I remember that, and I would finally get him out, and I don't think I was able to catch him, or I don't know how much I did want to catch another flying type, but I think Skarmory is cool.
And yeah, I remember you're right. There was something about like every time I was going through, and maybe it's just he has a pretty good speed stat, so like you can't get away. Like sometimes you're gonna try to run and it says you couldn't get away, and it's a longer route, so every time you have an interaction with the Skarmory, you're like, oh god. But yeah, there was some fear there as a child, and he's cool. He's really cool. Definitely, I think anything below team member is off the table for Skarmory, personally.
Oh wow.
I think he's a team member, but I mean, yeah, that's me. I would say team member. I think he's a firm team member. I wouldn't exactly lead a team with Skarmory, but that's where I'm at.
I was gonna say Rotten the PC or team member. But he's cool.
Well, that's interesting because, and let me get my cursor off the screen. How many opportunities have we had to catch a Skarmory? I think he was in X and Y. He was in the most recent game, I believe, in the wild area. I can't even tell you how many times I've played through Gen 3, and he's never been a team member.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not the sole criteria. There could be a Pokemon where it's like, I've never had him, but he's awesome, so he's Sapphire tier. But in this case, I think that's a good indication that Skarmory is indeed route in the PC.
Yeah, even high tier route in the PC.
Yep,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. Next, your girl. Enter Sapphire tier. Staraptor.
It's just so good.
Like
real potential to be the best bird Pokemon.
I agree.
Ever.
I think I'm like, yeah, ever. Like, just so cool. Just such a cool Pokemon, and definitely the aspect of, like, we were kids and this is just the most badass thing you could even think of when we saw this Pokemon for the first time. But it learns close combat, and just I remember in the anime, just with its feet, like, close combating things in battle. Such a cool, sleek, just well-designed Mon. And I wanna put it at the first slot of Sapphire tier right now, to be honest, just to cement that.
Totally fine.
Do you want to say anything more about Staraptor?
I think Staraptor is sick. I love Starly. I think that Staravia is weak. I don't like Staravia very much. I think that the hair loopy thing is weird, but I guess you need the hair loopy before you get the bang.
I think that's the idea. I do like consistency through the through each evolution, and I think they made it a little swirlier than it needed to be, maybe, but it does make sense progression wise, at least. I've never had issues with Staravia.
Staraptor is just a monster. It's an absolute monster, and it's probably just the coolest Pokemon. Just like the coolest bird Pokemon.
Dude, honestly, might be the coolest Pokemon. Like,
it's so good.
So good.
I'm fine putting it at the top of S tier before we're even gone. I don't even remember what the rest is, and it's like Staraptor's sick.
If we had a tier for like one guy, he'd be in that tier right now. She'd be in that tier. Whatever. I love Staraptor. Swanna! Our last water flying of the day.
Is Swanna water flying, really?
I believe so.
Not Pelipper. Trash.
Ducklet is really cute. And Swanna gets a little derpy and a little sassy. One thing about Swanna is Swanna has a lot of personality because, the hands on the hips and, like, bent over. Just seems like a disgruntled duck.
Oh, you think?
Swan trying to, like, get people off, her part of the lake. Yeah, that is my, honestly, like, I do think at the highest, this Pokemon is route in the PC for me. Might honestly just be trash. But yeah, I think it has some personality.
I think that its pre-evolution is much cooler than Swanna is.
It could have gone in a great direction.
I think Ducklet is cool.
Yes, we agree on that.
And I think that when Swanna came out, I was like, ugh, like I just don't. It doesn't do it for me.
I agree.
But I didn't know it was water flying, because like water flying, as I might have let on before, is cool. And
is that why? I'm gonna keep going back to our boy Cro-Magnon over here. The other water flying bird. Is that why he stayed out of Straight Cheeks tier?
No,
okay.
I didn't think about the typing. And if Pelipper wasn't water flying, whatever. And I get it. Like, I know that some people are like, it's just a seagull. And then it's just like a stork. Or not even a stork. I don't even know.
The thing in Finding Nemo that picks up all the guys in its mouth.
Yeah, it might not be stork. It might be a better word for it. But, yeah, I love the design of Pelipper. I love it. I don't love Swanna's, but, like, it's a swan. And it's not, I don't think it's horrible. I'd probably say it's it's rotten the PC, probably trash.
So here's another thing: is with a swan, you can go in two directions. The romanticized version of a swan is that swans are beautiful, elegant creatures, and then the real life version of a swan is swans are dicks,
aggressive and monsters. Yeah.
And it does go like this. I think of the personality with Swanna. It's just like a true to life swan. It would be really cool to have a beautiful swan Pokemon. I don't believe that exists right now, but I'm gonna say trash as well.
Okay. I could probably be convinced otherwise. If someone was like, it's great and like went through all the things, but nah, it's trash.
Trash. Swellow. My best friend. Such... I think I love... Like, very similar to Pidgeot. It's simple, and it's sleek. And just the two long tail feathers coming off the back. I could just picture this thing, like, going 60 miles an hour through the air, creating a tailwind. And I have had this thing on so many Gen 3 runs. Part of the reason I've never had a Pelipper. And I think it's because I also partially, throughout my whole, like, childhood, I always sort of cling to the underdog / the, like, one that's left behind but has redeeming qualities, maybe. And Staraptor was a Pokemon, Pidgeot, obviously. And I think people didn't give Swellow... Swellow only got 2 evolutions, similar to Noctowl. And for that reason, I have always had love for both Noctowl and Swellow. And, God, I just think Swellow is such a pretty Pokemon and a fierce battler. And for me, she's a team leader.
Oh, God.
Like, just a strong team leader, too. Like, borderline Sapphire tier.
Borderline Sapphire tier.
Dude, I love Swellow.
And that's great. I think that all your arguments are great. I love you.
No, roast me, man.
I just don't like Swellow. I think Swellow's cool, and I think I got it as a kid, and I'm like, wait till that next Evo. And then it didn't come, and I'm like, what? It's this? And
it's this? Yes. Yeah. It's a little disappointing. There could have been something in between Taillow and Swellow, but it's only disappointing because it's not... Like, if this were the third evolution, I think it's a perfectly fine, great third evolution. It's a beautiful Pokemon. I love the pops of red.
I hear you, man. I don't like Swellow. I just don't.
Okay, so if this were you alone, where would you put Swellow?
I don't like Swellow, but I also don't think that it's bad. Like, I don't think that Swellow is bad. So I think that, like, myself, I'd probably say it's B tier. Like, it's team member tier.
Okay. You wouldn't make... So I honestly was ready for you to say rot in the PC.
I could put it rot in the PC and not feel anything because I don't like Swellow.
Okay.
But but honestly, it's like, it's aesthetically pleasing and it is streamlined and like it's probably a B tier Pokemon. But it's probably a B tier Pokemon. I just want
Swellow to live there for a sec. Keep going.
I'm not comfortable. No way. It is not.
It's just going to hang out there while you talk. Just keep talking.
I'm just saying. It's just I don't think Swellow's cooler than Altaria.
Who might be a team leader.
You could convince me to put Swellow in team leader. Like, if you love Swellow and like my thing is the tier below it, then it's okay if it's on the one above or below, you know?
I don't know. I honestly, to be honest, Swellow is a team leader for me. There are definitely teams I could think back to where I'm like, oh, Swellow like was the heart of that team. But it's a weak team leader for sure. It's more of a team member.
You could put it there.
What, as like bottom tier team leader?
Yeah.
I want you to feel enthusiastic about it. I'm okay with putting it as a team member.
No, but I feel like the more of these that have happened, you've been like, you know what, you're right. I think that you've done that more. So I'm okay also putting it above what I would normally put it at.
Mac, I have to come clean about this. It was all a ruse. I was guilting you into team leader this whole time, and it worked. Swellow's a team leader next Pokemon.
Wait, seriously?
You told me. You told me team leader. You're okay with it.
Wait, now.
No, I've came clean. We're already at the next one. Talonflame. Ooh. I love Talonflame. Talonflame's so cool.
I love Talonflame.
They made the starter. Like, I think of it as a starter. It's like the first, you always, on the Route 1, you always run into a bird. And they made it fire bird. This literally was part of the reason that I didn't want to choose Tepig. I think it was Gen 5. And I was like, I don't want a fire starter because this bird exists. I know you had a closer connection to Talonflame than me, so you go ahead.
I love Talonflame, and I think that fire guys is really important to me in a run. Even though I didn't have one in Shield, which is weird, but I think Talonflame is a total sleeper. Honestly, I think Talonflame is sick, and I think Talonflame is cool enough to be a starter. You know, like
I agree. That could have been the starter.
I think it's a monster. I love Talonflame. I think it is team leader at least.
I think it is team leader at least, and I would be comfortable putting him in Sapphire tier. I think Talonflame is, if you're gonna make a fire bird, Talonflame is perfectly executed. Like,
I think Talonflame's sick. I'd probably put him on like middle lower tier of Sapphire tier or top team leader.
Do you feel okay about Sapphire tier?
Sure. I love Talonflame.
I love Talonflame. Awesome. Another.
We're almost done? Did we almost wrap up?
We're pretty close. We got, I believe, 4 left. And we have a Pokemon that is near and dear to my heart. Togekiss. Togekiss, I'm not normally one to go for the cute Pokemon. The cuddly Pokemon. But I love Togekiss so freaking much. Like, God. Togekiss can just kiss me all day long. Like, you know, like how your dog kisses you, Mac.
Yeah.
The swirliness, the wings, the just like, hey, guy, I'm ready to have a good day today with you. Little feet. Togekiss is a blast, and it learns Brave Bird. Like, it's a very strong fighter. I'm totally comfortable on my dream team putting Togekiss as my bird. Like, I'm at that level of love for Togekiss. Especially it adopts the fairy type. Once fairy becomes a thing. Again, I've done many playthroughs of the 4th gen, and Togekiss has, I believe, been on my team twice. And then once in Pokemon X as well. Togekiss is so cool.
Togekiss is cool. I would.
For me, it's a team leader.
I would never have one, I don't think, just because, and this might have just been one of those Pokemon as well that's like, I don't think I could have it because it's just so you.
That happens with us, where it's like, it's so you that I don't want to even, it'll feel weird for it to be on my team.
Yeah, and it's like nothing wrong with that. It's just like every time I look at it, I think about it on your team. And Togekiss is just one of those guys. Love him. It's so you. I think that it's really fun. I don't know if I've ever said this to you, but like the swirls on its wings always remind me of like ancient Greek swirls on columns.
Oh, interesting.
You know? And it like really makes me think of Hercules and like, I don't even know if it's right to say it, like Greco-Roman architecture. I don't know why it.
Interesting.
But I think it's cool, and I'm totally comfortable putting it as a team leader.
Awesome.
I was really afraid that we were gonna have to talk about Sapphire tier, and I'm like, I don't think it's Sapphire tier.
No, I think I can understand why it's not Sapphire tier, even though I absolutely adore it. Toucannon is next, as we are at the 3rd of our final 3 Pokemon.
Like if Toucan Sam just was done with people messing with his Fruit Loops. It's like, I'm done. It's over. It would be Toucan.
This is another example of just like exaggeration in Pokemon done right. So cool. Such a cool Pokemon.
I'd love Toucan. Toucan is a guy I haven't thought about since we probably played Sun and Moon, and I never finished the game. And that was the only game I've never finished. And I also didn't play Sun and Moon, the third or the second release of the Alolan game.
Neither of us did.
Which is something we've never done ever either.
Yeah. Not having gyms in that, like, it really bothered me. And it didn't. I would go back. I just didn't have the urge to like keep going. I'm literally up to the Pokemon League in Sun and Moon and haven't beaten it.
Yeah, I that never bothered me. Like, it didn't bother me not having, because like I felt like I was getting the gyms in with the challenges,
with the trials. That's fair.
Yeah,
it's just
I
like
thought that Sun and Moon, like every other one was like paradise. Like, it was so happy, and it was like one of the first ones where, your enemy was really just supportive. Like, I loved the enemy in that game, the rival.
Yeah, I remember that.
He just got me so excited to like be a part of the world. I was so excited to see him and how he was doing. I totally I'm sure there's a lot of Alolan Pokemon that I have forgotten about just because I haven't thought about them or played with them in like a long time.
Sure.
Playing the game. And Toucannon's one of those guys that, like, when I saw the photo of it, when you were trying to set up things for this video, I was like, whoa, Toucannon's sick.
Yeah. Here's the thing about so I think Toucannon, to go on to the Alolan, is like a perfect bird for the Alolan region. Like, you see it and you're like, I'm in paradise. This is, I'm in Hawaii. Which I'm assuming there are toucans in Hawaii. I don't know about the, ecology there. But
no comment.
Either way, maybe there aren't. It's an island, they often have very strange, like, it's like its own island. So stuff from on the continents, like, it's tough for toucans to get over there. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, cool Pokemon. For me, though, speaking from experience, literally had one in my run of Sun and Moon, and I ended up giving it up, and it ended up rotting in the PC for me around level 35.
Yeah, I honestly think the toucan's sick. What's the type? Is it just normal?
I believe it is normal flying.
Excuse me, everyone, for not knowing this, but I'm gonna have to check.
My vote for Toucannon is rot in the PC.
Wow.
But
it's
like
normal flying.
High rot in the PC. I just don't think, especially as like maybe it's because the expectation is a little high with like the first bird you meet on Route 1 that has 3 evolutions, but it didn't have the staying power to stay with my team through the end. And
I think this is the problem. It's like, because now I'm like thinking, like, my original thought was team member, and now I'm looking, I'm like, I think Toucannon's cooler than Swellow. I think Toucannon is cooler than everyone.
So that's the thing, though, is for you, Swellow was a team member, right? So this is our like amalgamated list, right? But this, for you should think like, about your own list and then make it according to that. Because by that logic, maybe Toucannon, he's cooler than Swellow, so he's Sapphire Tier. Is that true?
No, he's not Sapphire Tier. I think that he might be team leader for me, and like even potentially team member. I'd meet you in team member. I'd have a hard time putting Toucannon and rot in the PC. That would hurt.
I'm totally okay with team member.
Okay, and because I think he's even cooler than Sirfetch'd. I think he's
go ahead.
He's better than Hauntula. And then I think he's probably better than the Penguin. I don't think he's going to go much further than that for me.
We might have to talk about the Penguin later.
Oh, you want to bring him down?
Perhaps, but that's a conversation for later. Right now,
I could do that.
I'm totally okay with Toucannon in team member. I don't think he's cooler than Hawlucha, or he's like Sirfetch'd tier, but...
You could bring him below Hauntula then, and higher than Sirfetch'd.
Sure. I mean,
do you think he's cooler than Sirfetch'd?
We'll fine tune.
We'll fine tune. Did you ever see the shiny of Toucannon?
Is it like purple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. Okay, sorry.
Trash.
It's so bad.
Cheeks. Just spread them cheeks.
Stop. You can't say that.
Unleash the poop.
It's so bad.
That's just me. Like, I'm talking about myself. I spread my cheeks and I poop all over Unfezant.
Dude, is that redeeming?
Cheeks,
Was that your
dear.
redeeming comment?
Dude, Unfezant is so bad. Yeah, that was me defending what I was saying.
So here's my argument for Unfezant. I played Black and White with a P-Dove, and I think that I got to a point where it's like, I wonder what the third Evo is.
P-Dove is dope.
And I saw the regular with the brown feathers, the right one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it is so bad. And then I saw, which I believe to be the boy version, which is the one with the pink.
Okay. That makes sense.
The male version.
That does make sense.
And I was like, okay. And I'm pretty sure, like, my guy evolved, and it was female. And I think I just threw it away. And I just went, like, wherever I was in the game to the bushes and, like, got a male one. And it might even have been at that level, or it might have been in the middle evolution. And I popped him on my team. And I'm like, I'm not looking at you.
You know,
like,
you know what's really interesting about that is I know you love having a female bird. So that probably hurt.
I love having a female bird. Corviknight is the first male bird I've had in a long time.
Maybe since Unfezant.
Probably since Kanto.
Kanto?
I guess now.
Yeah.
Since Unfezant. But you know what? I think this is my argument. It is bad. It is a bad Pokemon. I think that because of the design of the other one, I think it is, like, without a doubt, better than the right one with the pink tendrils.
Yeah, I can agree. And one thing I appreciate whenever Pokemon does it is when they're biologically correct, or maybe that's not the right word, but like maybe when they reflect the truth of the nature of the Earth animal that it's emulating. So I know a lot of birds, the male will have these very loud features on its feathers and be bright or just huge, these like crazy designs that you'll see on, documentaries and things like that in nature. And they'll do tons of different things. Birds do the funniest things to attract their mate, and that's the mentality here. I know Pokemon, being a kid's game, isn't going to go into mating, but as someone who appreciates ecology, it's very cool that they did this where the male has this headdress and the green feathers, and so I can appreciate that.
I think that the male version, the pink, is trash. And I think that the other one is cheeks.
So for me, I think straight cheeks means you have no redeeming qualities. Trash means you have at least a redeeming quality. So I think we can agree on trash tier for Unfezant.
Wonderful. I love it.
I was ready to put Unfezant in cheeks tier, though, to be honest.
But it's better than Firo. I'm sorry, Firo, that you're down there all alone.
This is our objective opinion.
It's subjective, but it's
objective. We're being objective, Mac. We gave the disclaimer at the beginning. Enough. Xatu, the last one.
I don't like Xatu.
Me neither. Trash.
Honestly.
So here's what I'll say. I like whenever there's a Pokemon that has like a face hidden, like you think you're looking into the real face, and then it's Xatu is hunting, and it's got its like weird vampire face on its chest, and maybe some Pokemon's trying to hunt like a gecko that face is supposed to emulate, and then all of a sudden you look up and there's Xatu. Like, that's kind of creepy. Xatu's interesting. I would absolutely never have a Xatu on my team.
I think I've caught one and then been like, what am I doing? And then gotten rid of it, because it's like I think it's trash, and like I could be argued into rotting the PC, because it has rotten the PC for me before.
I've never caught a Xatu.
Like the totem pole feel is cool.
Got a totem pole feel.
Guess.
For me, I'm like, literally in my head, I'm just thinking like, is it Cheeks? Because I couldn't make an argument for Rotten the PC.
Nah, it's trash, dude. It's psychic flying, which is cool.
Okay.
It's trash. It's not cheap.
I don't feel good about.
Are we done now?
We're done. That was it. That's all of them.
Okay.
Unless you want to go back and do Aerodactyl and the other guy, Archeops.
I mean, the other one, they're both going to be strong fossil contenders.
I know. I'm excited to do the fossil video.
I'm not uncomfortable leaving them out because we're going to touch on them later.
Yep, that's fine. I'm joking.
Okay, so and we don't need to include Sigilyph, right? Because it's not a bird; it's just a thing.
That's not a bird. It's a flying type, but it's not a bird. Like we're strictly doing the birds. Sorry, Blaziken. Sorry, Golduck. You guys have arms.
Oh, those are things that's very controversial.
Very controversial. Hot take. We're not. I want to offend you. Okay, hot. They have arms. They're not birds. Birds have a beak. Birds have talons. Birds have wings. They don't have wings. Blow me up in the comments.
So, wait, did you leave? Are you gone? He left. Finally, I can tell you that I don't really like Empoleon before he gets back. I don't like it as much as he thinks I do. It's cool, but not as cool.
Now, I gave you an opportunity when I put my headphones off to let you sort of like do a disclaimer to them and say what you wanted to say about not being offensive.
I didn't talk about that. I talked about how Empoleon might be not an S tier.
You were having that conversation without me?
I was afraid of what you'd say.
Empoleon's S tier.
He's talking to the void.
All right, look. How should we do this? I got so fucking Bill. Okay, should we start at S tier and talk our way down?
We should probably talk our way down, right? That makes the most sense.
I agree. Because I'm honestly not seeing too many bump ups. I'm only seeing potential shoot downs.
I think I need Altaria to bump up. But,
okay, we'll get there. So
okay, we'll get there.
Staraptor, top of S tier.
I guess at first we're just gonna look. Maybe we should bump up though. That makes sense because then we're ranking them, and then if anyone gets promoted in the next line, we can promote them again.
I'm honestly okay putting Altaria in team leader.
Yeah, let's start at the bottom. Let's go straight Cheeks.
Oh, straight Cheeks.
We're gonna start there.
Cheeks. Fearow, there's no argument to make for Fearow. If you like Fearow, you're wrong at home. Okay. Fearow straight Cheeks. I want to make the argument for Cromamina to come down, to be honest. I really, because I'm going to put him and Swanna next to each other. I think Swanna is a way better designed. They're kind of very similar things, right? This like water duck. I mean, obviously a swan, but in the case of Cromamina, it's like a weird hybrid duck swan thing. I don't know if it's actually emulating a true animal. For all I know, it definitely could be. But I think if you compare it straight up to Swanna, it's a worse design, and I would like to bump it down to straight Cheeks, as I have made known earlier in this video. But you can make the argument why it should stay as trash if it has redeeming qualities.
Yeah, I know that it has some cool like Gulpin style moves, like where it's like swallowing the Pokemon. Like I've seen things of it like attacking Pikachu and swallowing it, and
cool. That's weird, man.
It might spit fish as an attack.
Hey, what part of this is like a redeeming quality though?
Because it's just like a duck. Like it reminds me a bit of Psyduck, to be honest. Like it's derpy.
It's derpy.
I'm not gonna lose sleep over this being in straight Cheeks. So if you feel strongly about it, that's all right. I'd put it in trash.
Cheeks. I also don't want to be overriding this whole thing and just doing
It's
what I
top
want.
tier straight cheeks for sure.
Okay, that's fine.
There you go.
But okay, cool. I like I said, I don't want you to feel like I'm bullying you.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. That's fine by me. I don't really. I'm just trying to give a good argument for it because it's like it is the water and the flying, and I know that it has some. It might even have unique attacks or unique animations for that point, but like I don't really care. Like I don't really.
I agree.
Like it.
That's the thing.
And I would probably get the swan before. So.
Me too.
So now let's organize who's top tier of trash.
I want to say Dodrio.
I think I agree.
Like Dodrio could be rotten the PC because of that like tri-attack effect.
It has rotten the PC with me. Before, so.
Next I would put Xatu or Unfezant. Unless you want to make an argument for
that's
Farfetch'd.
so surprising. I thought you would put Xatu at the bottom because you were about to put it in cheeks. But
I would. I think all of these I could make a cheeks argument for any of these guys.
Yeah.
You just get me started about cheeks, and I just want to put more stuff in
gonna,
cheeks, to be honest.
I was gonna probably put Unfezant next, maybe.
I'm okay with that. And then Farfetch'd. Now that I think about it, I might like Farfetch'd more than Xatu.
You might like Farfetch'd more than
Xatu.
Yeah, I like Farfetch'd more than Xatu.
Is Swanna the bottom of trash tier? Or is Xatu the bottom of trash tier? You're out in the wild. And Professor Oak gave you one Master Ball.
I think Xatu's cooler than Swanna.
Oh, I was gonna... Okay.
Okay, go on.
Professor Oak gave you one Master Ball. And he says, Mac, as my dying wish, catch a Pokemon in my backyard. There are some cool ones there. You go out and you see two pieces of trash, a Swanna and a Xatu. But it was his dying wish. Who do you catch? And you already said it, but
yeah, I think Xatu's probably cooler than this one.
Okay. Very well. Very well. Rot in the PC. Top tier. Delibird. Skarmory. Delibird and Skarmory.
This is going to be kind of hard because I think that...
Is it wrong of us to get this granular about it? Like, is the whole point of tiering them that we don't have to do this? We've committed.
We got to do it now.
I've second-guessed myself too many times already today.
Skarmory is going to be in the top 3.
Okay, I'll just move Skarmory to second position for now.
I think that the Vulture's cooler than Skarmory.
Okay. What do you think? Where does Delibird lie in all of this?
I think that right now is what I do.
Okay, I might do something like this, but I think because we agree on Skarmory, that's fine, and I think I'm totally okay with this.
I think those 3 Pokemon, in like terms of coolness, are actually pretty close. So no matter what configuration of them, I'm not gonna be offended because I think all 3 of them are cool. I even think Chatot's cool.
Chatot is cool. I think this is I think Chatot and Oricorio are in the right order as well. We should talk about, is there anybody as a team member that we would move down to Rotten the PC?
Or do you want to bring down the Penguin?
SQ is cool. It has a unique ability. But if I think about myself catching this thing early on,
it would rot in the PC.
I would not complete a run with this guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we might have, my club Penguin times might have.
Yeah. And I'm gonna put him above Chatot. That's what feels right for me.
Yeah, I think that feels good to me.
The 2 polar buddies. Okay. Team members. Let's talk about Altaria. Now's the time. Give me the pitch.
It has to bump to team leader.
Well, this is... Tell me why.
I think that it is an absolute monster with Dragon Rage and like depending on if you're using Sword Stance or Fly or Aerial Ace and stuff like that. Like I think that Altaria is really strong, and I think that Altaria has the potential to be a top 3 guy on your team. And I'm just going off the list. If we go back to that for a moment,
sure.
I think that it is. I think that it is. Oh God, I'm just second guessing myself. I'm not sure.
If you don't mind me jumping in, I know Hoenn was the year or the region of like a lot of heavy hitters, Metagross, Salamence, right, Flygon, like a ton of these just absolute monsters. They were really into like 3 evolution guys who become absolute powerhouses later. And I think Altaria is like a sleeper version. Like Altaria's kind of in that tier of you're a monster and you could carry a team, but might have been overshadowed by all those other guys early on. And I'm totally, now that I think about it, I think I agree. Altaria could definitely be a top 3 guy on a team and a team leader.
Okay. And I'm still comfortable keeping it like low team leader, but like I think it has to be team leader.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's look at the team member tier. To be honest, this is about exactly how I would rank it.
Okay. I think that Toucannon is cooler than Honchula, but like you argued good for Honchula. Like I don't think Honchula is like bad. It just doesn't really do it for me. But I think that this is a good ranking.
Okay.
Okay. Team leader.
Team leader. Should we have the Empoleon conversation now if he might potentially go down?
Empoleon's sick as a starter. It's like a really cool big king penguin, but it just doesn't, and I'm okay keeping it in Sapphire tier. It just does not spark joy as much as the other birds in S tier do for me. I see every other bird in S tier and I'm like, oh, sick, cool. And then Empoleon, just because like I never had a great relationship with Empoleon the way you did. If it's not gonna be top of team leader tier, I'd want it to be in the low end of Sapphire tier, if not the lowest.
I love my Empoleon. However, I think now is an important time for us to make sure that Sapphire tier is rarefied air. Empoleon is, for me, an absolute powerhouse, and I do... so many redeeming qualities. Such a cool Pokemon, especially like if you think about it. One thing I just thought of, like swimming on its stomach, the little like fin on its stomach as like sort of a surfboard for the trainer to ride on. I just love that image of the trainer riding on their Empoleon.
Yeah, Empoleon's cool,
but I'm okay putting it top of team leader tier.
we can keep it in Sapphire tier.
But this is well,
do you think Talonflame is cooler than Empoleon?
Interesting. Yeah. At least on equal footing. And if you think Talonflame's cooler than Empoleon, I think the average of our opinions.
I'm keeping Empoleon in S tier, but I might put it at the bottom of S tier.
Rather than demoting it?
Yeah.
I'm okay putting it at the bottom of S tier. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so team leader, I don't like Swellow. I just want everyone to know that. But I think that the way things are right now, I can live with.
You can live with exactly how it is right now.
I think I can live with the way it is. Pelipper is a monster. Everyone at home should know that Pelipper is President 2020.
If I look at this, Pelipper is the one that I'm looking at, and I'm like, Pelipper's out of place. I would put Pelipper behind Togekiss and Altaria.
Behind.
And I'd probably move Togekiss up to like top of team leader tier. But that's me.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if Decidueye deserves the front of team leader. Like, who's out of these, who would be your team leader if you had to pick one bird out of these 6?
Pelipper, bro.
Okay.
And then next for me would be Altaria.
So Altaria shouldn't be... I think we both agree Altaria all of a sudden was a team member, now shouldn't be even bottom of team leader.
Is what?
Like, I agree that Altaria shouldn't be the bottom of this tier.
Wow, Altaria is climbing now.
Altaria is climbing, and I think that's great.
If you want to put Pelipper at the bottom of team leader tier, I'd forgive you.
I don't want to do that. I want to take our average.
Thank God.
I'm going to move Pelipper to 3 for now. I'm going to move Swellow to 1. No, I'm just kidding. For me...
How much higher do you think Swellow goes in this?
To be honest, I don't feel great about a lot of this right now. Decidueye I don't like at the top. Pidgeot I don't like at the top. I like Togekiss and Swellow at the very top. Like, that's me. That's where I would be.
Okay.
And then it would probably be, if I had to do it, just off my head, I'm not going to move them, it would be Togekiss, Swellow, Altaria, Decidueye, Pidgeot, Pelipper.
I might put Pidgeot above everyone here.
Really? I'm okay with that, even though I put Pidgeot towards the end. Like, it's so close. You're getting very granular at this level. And I think Pidgeot's so sick.
Okay. Is Altaria better than Decidueye?
Yeah.
Okay, move it ahead.
Dude. Altaria. Sapphire tier.
I'm telling you.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
better than Staraptor.
Yeah.
Is Swellow better than Altaria?
For me.
You could be personal.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you can move it there.
Wow.
I think, like, to be honest, I think right now, like where it was before you moved Swellow was what I personally would probably put things at.
Why don't we move Pelipper? Because I want to make sure we're taking the average of both of our opinions. So I don't want to put Swellow that high.
But you can put Swellow there. Like, it's not gonna make me upset because I think all these guys are cool.
What if I move? What would make me feel good is if I move Decidueye behind Pelipper and Swellow.
Oh my God. Okay.
Because I think, is Pelipper higher than Decidueye for you? Or do you think Decidueye deserves to be high on this?
I feel like Decidueye is a fucking monster Pokemon, and putting Pelipper above it feels a bit dirty, but it's what I would do. That's
what you would do. And I think your love for Pelipper should be shown.
I love Pelipper.
So I'm doing that.
He's so cool.
And honestly, if I had to put Togekiss and Swellow against each other, I would put Togekiss above Swellow.
Oh my gosh. But you could move if you put Swellow above Pelipper.
Mm-hmm. Swellow above Pelipper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want your love for Swellow and Togekiss to be shown as well.
But I recognize that they're both kind of on the vanilla side.
What about this right now?
Okay, what?
This.
Oh, this right now? I'm like, tell me. Decidueye has gone from the tippy top to second to last.
Which is wild.
But you're right. This is the team leader tier. This is a heavy tier. Everyone's a heavy hitter, you know?
Everyone is a heavy hitter, and I think that this one, more than the other ranks, have made me uncomfortable because I think that they're all cool.
They're all very cool.
it makes like I think that this is actually gonna be our hardest line because I think that the one above us isn't gonna like hurt me because everyone up there is like
Oh God.
yeah, it's not gonna hurt me as much. Like if they're in Sapphire tier, like you made it.
Hey,
but team
mate.
leader now is like making it hard for me.
Yeah.
Do you want to move Pidgeot? Because that's something we haven't moved in a bit.
I was surprised when you said I would be okay putting Pidgeot at the top. After everything I said about Pidgeot being the quintessential flying Pokemon, I understand it, and I'm totally comfortable with Pidgeot being the top of team leader.
Okay, then we're done talking about that one because that's locked in.
Okay.
Send me back.
Okay, here we are. Altaria.
Do you think Altaria is cooler than Swallow?
Yeah.
Do you think Altaria is cooler than Decidueye?
The fact that I had to think about it says that Swallow shouldn't be above Decidueye, though. I would say no.
Decidueye's probably third, dude.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Okay. So let's lock into Altaria made it to the second of team leader tier from team member tier.
That's amazing.
Let's go, Altaria, the climb. I remember me.
So now it's Swellow, Pelipper, and Togekiss. These are three Pokemon who, two of which I have very strong opinions about. Basically, all three Pokemon we have polarizing opinions about, right? However, I think your love for Pelipper and my about Pelipper is different than your dislike for Swellow, and I believe dislike for Togekiss.
If you put Pelipper at the bottom of team leader tier, I would be comfortable.
I was gonna put Pelipper above Swellow and Togekiss.
I think that Pelipper probably deserves to be beneath both of them.
Really?
I like them more than both, but like just trying to be neutral about it. Like looking at the board right now, I'm like, oh shit, Pelipper, you made it to team leader.
Okay, so like Pelipper's happy to be there, like okay with being at the end.
Yeah, like I think that's all right. I looking at it right now, I'm like wow, you climbed.
Hell yeah. Okay, and then since these two are like my babies, are you cool with me doing that and moving Togekiss ahead of Swellow?
Yeah.
Okay. Sapphire tier. Honestly, the only thing I would change about the orientation right now is I would move Corviknight to the end of it.
Oh my god. Really? That's why. I think Empoleon is the bottom of as a Sapphire tier.
Okay, and that's...
I think that Staraptor is the top.
I agree. We agree. It's the middle three now. I mean, I would put Corviknight as the bottom, but it's neck and neck between him and Empoleon. So Braviary, who's number 2?
Is Braviary cooler than Talonflame?
Yes. For me, yeah, I love Braviary.
All right, switch Talonflame and Corviknight. First, for right now. Let's just see
how we feel about that.
We might have done it.
I think we did it.